If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses, plus free delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
This year, experience the NHL playoffs your way. Want to watch a single, do or die Game 7, a full week of heavy-hitting back-and-forth series? Then check out Sling's 1, 3, and 7-day passes. Watch the Chase for the Cup on ESPN and TNT, starting as low as $4.99. No long-term contracts or overpaying. Just live hockey at home or when you want it. Sling lets you do that. Visit sling.com to learn more.
Welcome into the Saturday Show 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Christian Esparza, Alex Napoles. We got Parker producing today. Thank you for making us a part of your Saturday morning. Alex, it's going to be a great weekend, Memorial Day weekend. So if you're listening to us, on your way south or north up to Bear Lake or chilling at home, running errands on a Saturday morning, really appreciate everybody tuning in this Saturday.
Absolutely. I'm ready for tomorrow, man. Roommates are making some barbecue. We're going to be cooking up the burgers and the hot dogs and spending some time with some good friends over there, man. I'm excited. We're going to celebrate Memorial Day weekend.
Who's the grill master with you?
Oh, it's my roommate.
It's not you?
It's my guy Gunner.
The homeowner?
Not me. Yeah, it's the homeowner.
Okay. That's so we recently had a baby, my wife and I.
Yeah.
And bless my parents, they want to come over and see the baby all the time. And they'd come over and make food and stuff. And the first few times that they came over, they would make food. And it was a big help because, having the newborn and stuff, you're exhausted. But then I think it was last week, they came over and I'm like, I'm ready to take my grill back. I'm ready.
You're ready for it.
Let's have a cookout.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. I'm always down to grill, but it's my grill.
This is the weekend to do it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got the long weekend.
I actually don't even know what I'm doing Monday. I don't know. We'll see. I just living life by the day.
I'm not the grill master. No, I get it. I'm not the grill master, but I can make a mean carne asada. That's for sure. I'll probably don't make good burgers. That's a very useful skill. Yeah. I probably don't make good burgers, but I can do the carne asada.
And I'd be willing to bet that your roommates can't.
Probably not. Probably not.
Well, it's been a fun week. A lot of, excitement around the NBA. Of course, the conference finals are underway, and I think watching them through kind of a Jazz lens has been really fun because, truthfully, Alex, we have not seen the Jazz try to win a basketball game in 4 years. Yeah. I mean, maybe a couple here and there. I remember the first game of that tanking year, the first game they played after trading Rudy and Donovan, they opened the season against the Denver Nuggets, and everybody knew how good the Nuggets were supposed to be. I think the Nuggets went on and won the championship that year, but the Jazz beat the Nuggets that game. So that's one of the memories I have of a game that they were trying to win, right? But we haven't seen that a lot over the last 4 years, especially after they traded for Jaren Jackson Jr., You have an idea of what this roster is going to look like. But even then, they were sitting him in the fourth quarter. They were sitting Lowry in the fourth quarter. We truthfully have not seen the Utah Jazz try to beat anybody.
Right.
So I am really curious to see how they stack up against the rest of the West. Because, this Western Conference Finals has been thrilling, right? And especially that game one, double overtime game, one of the best basketball games I've ever seen. No, I'm not sitting here trying to say that the Jazz are on that level right away. I'm just curious because we don't know. And the Jazz, actually, their roster is constructed in a very unique way. So that's all I'm trying to say is I can't wait to see when the Jazz take the training wheels off of Will Hardy and this roster. How are they going to compete against the top of the West?
Well, I think they're set up in a good spot, and that's why they make that's why you make a move for Jaren Jackson Jr. in what's looked like as a quote unquote going out of the rebuild and moving forward into a direction where the Jazz are going to be competitive and are going to win basketball games.
Yeah.
That's the first step to it. You already, of course, have Lauri Markkanen into the mix you have the big jump from Keontae George, and I'm curious to see what kind of steps that he takes going forward. I'm curious to see how the young guys continue to develop for the Utah Jazz, but there's certainly pillars in place right now that this Jazz team can use going forward into the future for this team to be competitive. When it comes to, hey, we're going to make the playoffs. When it comes to, hey, let's win some series and make a deep run. It might not be right off the bat. It might not be, an immediate thing, but there's definitely steps they're taking to make sure that in the next 3 years, the Jazz can be in that mix and in that conversation.
I think it's safe to say, obviously it depends on how the seeding goes and stuff, and sometimes things get a little wacky and injuries and whatever, but Jaren Jackson Jr., Ace Bailey, Lauri Markkanen, Keontae George, you're assuming Walker Kessler is going to be back. You're adding a number 2 overall pick into the mix. I think it's safe to say the Jazz I would expect them to win a playoff series. I mean, it's tough to say because you don't know who they're going to go up against. Like if they end up as an 8 seed and have to play Oklahoma City in the first round, okay, that's a little different. But I fully expect this Jazz team to finish, 4th or 5th in the West next year. And I definitely could see them winning a playoff series in that scenario. But we will see. But, Alex, the reason I bring this up and want to talk about this is because, you watch that, particularly the game 1 where San Antonio won and Victor Wembanyama went absolutely insane. What do you have? 40 points, 41 points, 24 rebounds, and 49 minutes played in a double overtime game.
Yeah.
The most minutes he's ever played in his career, right? And
hit a logo 3.
And he hit a logo 3 to force the double overtime, right? And the narrative after that game was like, okay, it's official. Victor Wembanyama is the best player in the NBA.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt about it. Like when he is at his best, he is a top 3 player in the league, right? Maybe the best player in the league. And nobody can do what he does. But it's not to say that he's not a flawed player. And I think it's funny how in sports we're so desperate to find the next best thing.
Right.
And you see it in every sport all the time. When the Patriots were winning Super Bowls, who was going to step up and stop them? Oh, this young kid in Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes, steps up. Can't wait for the Chiefs to dethrone the Patriots. And then they do it. And how quickly did everybody get sick of the Chiefs? Because they wouldn't stop winning.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, you got to move on. Who's, are the Bills going to step up or the Bengals? Who is it? Right? And you're seeing it already in the NBA because the
Everybody
Thunder.
loved Wemby.
Yeah, well, the Thunder emerged as the next
and
best dynasty.
Everybody loved Shea.
Yeah, and everybody was like, look how cool this, they won that trade. That was the most lopsided trade in NBA history. Shea's up next. He's the face of the league.
And now people can't stop talking about how Shea just draws the whistle.
In just a year.
Right.
People got so sick of the Thunder. I'm sick of the Thunder, right? And so now you've got this player that's going to challenge the Thunder, and he is challenging them. The Thunder are up 2-1, and we can get into playoff breakdown later on in the show. But the Thunder aren't on their way out, right? They're up in this series. They're expected to win the series. They're expected to win the finals.
We talked a little bit about it last week, about how all the conversation has switched to the Spurs and the Spurs building a dynasty and who's going to dethrone Wemby and the Spurs in the next couple of years, and it's like they still haven't won anything.
Right.
They're still going through OKC, who is the team that we had this exact conversation about last season.
Yes.
Where who's going to dethrone the Oklahoma City Thunder because they have Chet, because they have Shea, because they have Jalen Williams, and they have a young core who's up and coming and rising. They won a championship last year. Going into the season, everyone's like, oh, OKC is going to run it back. And then now all of a sudden the conversation has completely changed to Wemby is going to run the NBA. And I for the most part, I do think he will. But Dynasty is a long stretch because they still haven't won anything.
Right.
And we're seeing now that it's not just Wemby, it's the Spurs. They're still young. They still need to figure some stuff out. But since Dylan Harper went out and who else are they? Oh, Fox. And since Fox are out, you can see that there are deficiencies with this Spurs team.
1,000%.
And where, everyone's talking about the dynasty and everyone's talking about this generational run that Wembanyama's going to go on.
Yeah.
But it still hasn't happened.
Talking about a dynasty before they've even made the
before
finals.
they even win anything.
Well, and it's funny you use the phrase "run the league," right? Nobody's ran the league in 10 years. I'd argue like Miami LeBron was the last player to truly run the league. And I know maybe like even Steph and the Warriors, I wouldn't say Steph ran the league. There were years where they were the overwhelming favorite to win, and they definitely had a true dynasty. But even then, it never felt like the Warriors, quote unquote, ran the league.
Yeah.
Maybe that 1 year with Kevin Durant.
Yeah,
when they won.
I think just LeBron would probably ran the league.
But
because, I mean, you had the years where him and Miami had that incredible run.
Right.
That super team with Dwayne Wade and Bosh. And then he goes up to Cleveland, and even then, maybe they didn't win as much that they probably wanted to. LeBron probably obviously didn't win as much as he wanted to on that second stint with the Cleveland Cavaliers. But they were still inevitable. And you saw that with, 3 straight final appearances against the Golden State Warriors?
Yeah, and that was a really fun. So that's the last time anybody.
So I would say I would say LeBron ran the NBA, but I don't know if Cleveland or Golden State I would say that they ran the league, but definitely LeBron. But
we've had 8 different champions in the last 8 years.
Right, and I think that's a great thing.
And that's a great thing. And maybe the Thunder ruined that by going back to back this year. We will see. I mean, there's still a lot of basketball left to be played, but the point is, there's no such thing as a face of the NBA right now. And that's a good thing. I'm with you. At least for parity's sake. Maybe the NBA does need somebody to step in and become the face, and maybe that is going to be Wembanyama. But it's just funny being on social media and watching people overreact to this. Like, how are the Jazz going to construct their roster to stop Victor Wembanyama? Like, give me a break. You think that when, the Jazz front office, Austin Ainge, Danny Ainge, and Justin Zanuck, when they sit down and say, okay, where are the holes in this roster? You think their main goal is to stop Victor Wembanyama? Because I can tell you that's not how rosters are constructed.
Right.
Now, you do kind of have to keep it in mind, right? Because he is such a unique player, and you are in the Western Conference, and you want to be able to stop him. You don't want to become some of these other teams like that just have no answer. But the good thing for the Jazz is they do. And this is why I brought that up earlier. The Jazz have a very unique roster build in the fact that they're going to have Lowry and Jaren Jackson Jr. for sure at the 3 and 4. And presumably bringing Walker Kessler back. Lowry and Walker are 7 feet tall. Jaren Jackson Jr. is 6'10", and outside of that, he is big and strong. Then you put in potentially Ace Bailey at the 2, or maybe Darren Peterson at the 2. Not quite as long as Ace Bailey, but Ace Bailey's 6'10", right?
Yeah.
So if you've got your shooting guard is 6 feet 10 inches, your small forward is 7 feet tall, power forward is 6'10", your center is 7 feet tall, there's no team in the NBA that can compete with that size and that length. For as big and unique as Victor Wembanyama is, we had Big T on, Jake and Ben, yesterday, and Jake said, Big T, you have a really good sense of how tall players really are. How tall really is Victor Wembanyama? And first, Big T said, Jake, it's like you looking up to me. Big T looking up to Victor Wembanyama.
Right.
That's the size
Right.
difference. Then he said he's for sure he's listed as 7'4", 7'5". Big T thinks he's for sure taller than that. So he's a very unique player, but
He is.
it's not just about that. And you bring up, some of the other holes in San Antonio's roster. Their roster's not perfect.
Yeah.
Sure, maybe Wemby's going to get his when he matches up against the Jazz, but I just can't wait to see how these other teams in the NBA try to combat the Jazz's length and athleticism, because they have that in troves. And I have not seen that in one single team in a very, very long time, as long as the Jazz and as tall as the Jazz are going to be next year.
Yeah, as one of the things I hear about, people talking about the Jazz and about this Jazz team heading into the future and heading into next season is about how excited they are about their length. That's one of the things that Tim Lacombe has hammered on time and time again about the length of what this Jazz team is going to be next year, considering, Walker Kessler is back for the Utah Jazz. And I feel like if you have all that length with Jaren Jackson, with Walker Kessler, with Lauri Markkanen, with Ace Bailey, you definitely can scheme and game plan for somebody like Victor Wembanyama. The reality is Victor Wembanyama is going to change the way the NBA is. You talk about generational players, and Victor Wembanyama is absolutely one of them. There is no doubt. But I think when you are putting together a roster to compete in the Western Conference, when you're putting together a team that you believe can go on and win a championship in the NBA, you can't specifically. I feel like you can't specifically scheme it for Victor Wembanyama because you still have to worry about the other teams, the OKCs. You still have to worry about whatever happens with the Denver Nuggets, whatever happens with
the Timberwolves,
whatever happens with other teams in the Western Conference, with Luka Doncic and in the Lakers. Right there, it's not just about Wembanyama. It's not just about the one team. It's probably going to work to your advantage to have all that length with Walker Kessler, Lowry, and Jaren Jackson Jr. It's probably going to work to your advantage when you do face off against a team like the Spurs. But you also want to make sure that you're in a spot where you can be competitive and beat the teams that you are going to have to beat to lead up to a Western Conference final to face the San Antonio Spurs. If it does happen to be the San Antonio Spurs, if somebody like OKC can take care of the Spurs before then, you're in a perfect spot.
You say it's going to work to the Jazz's advantage when they face Wemby. That's the whole point. It's going to work to their advantage when they face anybody, not just Victor Wembanyama. If you construct your whole roster or even your starting five to stop one player, then you've already lost.
Yeah.
Because that player is already taking up so much of your, and it's like you're saying, it's not a guarantee you're ever going to play San Antonio. Maybe San Antonio... Maybe something happens and they see an early playoff exit.
Right.
And your roster then is so constructed just to stop him. How do you stop Shea? How do you stop Luka? Right. So.
And a conversation that was had about last season about the Oklahoma City Thunder was eventually you're going to have to pay some of these young guys. Eventually you're going to have to pay some of these young stars. And if, with the second apron and the way the CBA set up, that gets really hard. So eventually the Spurs are going to be in the same situation where the questions are going to be asked, can we pay a Stephon Castle? Can we pay a Dylan Harper? Where are we at financially in order to not be in the second apron and not make sure that we, aren't overpaying some guys and make sure that we aren't taking the penalties of a second apron?
Not to say the Jazz won't have financial issues either.
Right. The Jazz are eventually going to have to think about it because there are a lot of young players on that roster that are going to need contracts eventually.
You just don't sit there and construct your roster with one player in mind.
Right.
That would be pretty funny.
Right. Planning long term for Victor Wembanyama when, again, anything can happen to this Spurs roster.
You set out to build the best basketball roster that you can. And if you happen to match up against Victor Wembanyama, then you are hoping that your four other players or your starting five overall can beat their starting five. Or your, 10-man rotation can beat their 10-man rotation. And sure, maybe Wembanyama's going to have a few great games, right? But if your roster is deeper, I'd take the deeper roster.
Absolutely.
And, talking about we'll talk more Knicks Cavs later, but Josh Hart won the game Thursday night for the Knicks. He had a phenomenal game. Josh Hart isn't one of their quote unquote star players. He's a very, very good role player who does his job. And so, when you get to playoff basketball, it's not just about your best player or your second best player. It's about how good the rest of your team is and can these players do their job. So I just think it's funny, dude, when people overreact and the Jazz need to get a stretch five who can shoot threes because that's what Victor Wembanyama does. Okay, the Jazz are, the Jazz have something going. The Jazz have a plan with this roster.
Right.
And to be honest with you, Walker Kessler is that final piece. And as a restricted free agent, I do like the Jazz's chances of bringing him back. You never know what's going to happen if somebody offers a ridiculous contract just because they know the Jazz can't match. Maybe the Jazz do end up losing him. But next to Lowry and Jaren Jackson Jr., to complete those bigs, you need a rim protector. And that's Walker Kessler.
Absolutely.
And to be honest, I couldn't care less about whether your center steps out and shoot threes. That doesn't matter to me in the slightest. Especially because you've got Keontae, you've got Lowry, and you've got Jaren Jackson Jr., who can all hit the three.
Yeah.
And whether that two is Ace Bailey or Darren Peterson or AJ DeBonsa, they're not too shabby as shooters either, especially DP, right? So it's just, you don't need your own version of Victor Wembanyama.
You don't.
Because you're not going to get it.
No, you don't. You're not because he's one of one. earlier in the week, Scotty G compared him to Shaq and how Shaq changed the game, and Wemby's going to be right there, and I 1,000% agree. But I had this conversation with Parker while you were out on your baby sabbatical, and I talked about how all the eggs right now are in Walker Kessler's basket. The Jazz are going to put all their eggs into the Walker Kessler basket, and I think they should.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's no guarantee on how he's going to be when he returns after essentially not playing this entire season, right? I think he only played 4 or 5 games this year. The question is, how does he look when he returns? But to me, Walker Kessler is a massive missing piece to a successful Jazz team. One of the biggest questions I have for this Jazz team is how good they can be defensively heading into next season when they are trying to win games, because this year the defense was not great to watch. It was not fun to watch, and it was pretty bad at moments. There was games where the Jazz would score 129 and then the other team scored 140. So defensively, you have to be better.
How much of that is on purpose?
Right? I know, but still, you have to be better defensively. Keontae George, I think, has to take steps defensively. There's other younger guys and players on the roster that I think have to take some defensive steps. But when you have Jaren Jackson Jr. and Walker Kessler, who is proven that he can be a really good rim protector and a solid defender in the NBA, then I think that you're in a really great spot. And again, it's going to help you defend guys like Wembanyama, guys like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and the other teams in the Western Conference who are in the same position where they want to compete and go on and win an NBA championship.
It's going to be a crazy few days when that restricted free agency starts because, again, like I brought up earlier and like you're saying, you like the Jazz's chances to bring back Walker, but there's always in the back of your mind, what if the Lakers get crazy?
Yeah, what if? What if
one of these other teams
how many times and how many seasons now have we gone where the national media and the national pundits are putting out trade rumors and
Walker Kessler to the Lakers,
and trade hypotheticals for Walker Kessler going to the Los Angeles Lakers. It happens every season. It happens all the time. It probably didn't happen this season because he is out injured, but if he was out there playing, I wouldn't doubt that the pundits out there would put the trade hypotheticals for Walker Kessler again, because they do it every year.
Speaking of trades, I did find this interesting after the Timberwolves were bounced from the playoffs, right? And there were some rumors that part of the reason Julius Randle didn't really play up to expectation is because the Timberwolves were really trying to get Giannis Antetokounmpo at the trade deadline. And that trade would have included Julius Randle. And apparently that really bugged him, and he was hurt by those trade rumors. And that's why he kind of fell apart in the playoffs. And now that they're out, the rumors are starting to swirl again. Not only is Giannis trying to get out of Milwaukee, right? But what can the Timberwolves do to ensure that they don't get bounced next year by OKC, because their championship window is closing, at least as currently constructed. Even if it's not closing, Anthony Edwards is entering his prime. So you want to maximize that while you can. So what can the Timberwolves do to get better? If Milwaukee really does want to, or if Giannis really does want out of Milwaukee, will the Timberwolves be involved? And partially to make salaries work, Minnesota might have to move on from Rudy Gobert. And I saw a lot of Jazz fans saying that they'd be interested in bringing Rudy Gobert back. What are your thoughts on that?
No.
As far as the Jazz, you can't have Kessler and Gobert.
Yeah. As far as, trying to get him back with the Utah Jazz, I think that ship has sailed.
So if, let's say, just for, this hypothetical, let's say that the Lakers sign Walker Kessler to $35 million a year and the Jazz don't want to match. Do you think they would pivot and say, okay, let's bring Rudy back to be our rim protector? Because you need a rim protector next to Jaren Jackson Jr. You can't have him playing center.
For as much as it feels like all the eggs are in Walker Kessler's basket, and again, I feel like they should, and it's warranted that they should be, they need to have a backup plan. In case of the worst case scenario,
I know they do,
and
I know they have a backup plan.
I know they do.
I am curious to what it is.
I'm
totally
curious
with you.
too. I'm curious too to what it is, but you need to have a backup plan that you feel confident in the case that Walker Kessler does end up not returning to the Utah Jazz, because that possibility is out there. Whatever that backup plan may be, I know that the front office, considering everything that they've done over the course of the last couple years in order to put the Jazz into this position, I'm sure will be the right decision. I don't know if it involves Rudy Gobert.
Rudy Gobert makes $36.5 million next year, And then he has a player option for 27, 28, and that player option's worth $38 million.
Yeah.
So if, people are drawing the line at $35 million for Walker Kessler, of course the Jazz haven't really said what their line in the sand is going to be, but you can assume, right, with Triple J and Lowry Markkanen both making around $50 million next year, you don't want to be paying a center, especially kind of a rim protector center in Walker Kessler. You don't want to be paying him anything close to 40, right? So they're saying, maybe that 30 to 35 million is the max that you'd want to pay for Walker Kessler. Right now, Rudy Gobert is making more than that, and Rudy Gobert is older. Maybe he's better defensively, but I would say Walker's better offensively, right? So I guess the Jazz would have to measure what would be more important. I think my bottom line is you don't want to romanticize the past. Right?
Yeah, and that's, on top of that too, like you don't want to romanticize the past, but you look at the series that the Timberwolves just had, and one of the biggest things that stood out to me was, again, the deficiencies offensively of Rudy Gobert. And I think in this era where we were just talking about, where you want to be able to go toe-to-toe with Wembanyama and you want to be able to go toe-to-toe with the Spurs and Oklahoma City Thunder, I think you want more of the archetype of Walker Kessler, who can get you a lot more offensively than a Rudy Gobert.
And if you lose Walker, all hope is not lost. I don't know. I'm looking at the list of centers that are going to hit free agency, right? Isaiah Hartenstein has a club option with the Thunder, and they are going to be right up against the apron after they're paying 3 players a supermax.
Yeah, which, by the way.
So if they decline Hartenstein, I'd definitely take him over Rudy.
I think absolutely.
And again, this is all saying that if Walker leaves, right?
Yeah.
I think Walker's the top choice because he knows the team, he knows the system, he knows the locker room. He's your top choice. But if Walker Kessler leaves and Isaiah Hartenstein's available, I wouldn't be opposed to that. Mitchell Robinson from New York, not as good of a player as Hartenstein or Kessler, but he's a lot cheaper too.
That's true.
And again, you're not asking him to come in and be a superstar. You literally just want somebody to come in and defend the rim.
Yeah.
And he does that, right? So I don't know. Robert Williams from Portland, kind of the same thing. That's definitely, again, even similar to Mitchell Robinson, definitely a tier or two below what Walker Kessler brings.
A lot more injury prone.
Yeah.
Though. So again, that's a conversation that you need to have about if Walker Kessler does decide to move on and you need to bring in somebody. If you look at Williams, that's a conversation you need to have, because I can't remember a time when I don't see him on the injury report.
That's true. But don't trade for Rudy.
He was great with Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he looked like he was going to have a high ceiling, but the injuries have kind of put a halt to that, unfortunately. However, I think in a perfect world, man, your starting 5 is Walker Kessler. And what about Nurkic? As your number 2, man. I think you're in a perfect spot right there.
I wouldn't be opposed to bringing Nurkic
if Yusuf Nurkic can play anywhere near the game that he was playing before he had to sit out for the remainder of the season, then I think you're in a really good spot.
Especially as the backup, right?
Yeah.
As the number 2.
1,000%.
You're not asking him to come in and be your starting center. I think he's a perfectly serviceable backup center.
Yeah, and you know exactly what you're gonna get with him off the bench.
He was making 17.5 last year, so that would have to drastically reduce. But
well, have that conversation with him sooner rather than later, before somebody else decides to come in and overpay for Yusuf Nurkic.
Maybe the Jazz will get lucky and nobody else offers Walker Kessler a contract, and they can bring him back for $25 million.
And that's very well possible.
That would be a perfect scenario.
It's possible, because I think a lot of people look at, like me, who are looking at Walker Kessler and saying, hey, is he the same player he was before he sat out an entire season?
Could be.
And that might not be, if you're a GM or something, that might not be a gamble you want to take if you're not 1,000% certain that he is the player that he was before he went out. Which could work to the Jazz.
Somebody gets desperate.
Which could work to the Jazz advantage.
Yeah, or somebody gets desperate like the Lakers.
Right. It's a very Laker thing to do.
That's why I bring it up. We got to take a break. Coming up on the other side, we'll continue to talk NBA playoffs. The Knicks up 2-0. Are the Cavs in trouble? Is Donovan Mitchell in trouble? We'll get to that next. Stick with us. It's the Saturday Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses, plus free delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
This year, experience the NHL playoffs your way. Want to watch a single, do or die Game 7, a full week of heavy-hitting back-and-forth series? Then check out Sling's 1, 3, and 7-day passes. Watch the Chase for the Cup on ESPN and TNT, starting as low as $4.99. No long-term contracts or overpaying. Just live hockey at home or when you want it. Sling lets you do that. Visit sling.com to learn more.
Welcome back to the Saturday Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Christian Esparza, Alex Napoles, taking you through a Saturday of sports. Alex, the conference finals kind of heating up. The West have been really fun. OKC leads that series 2-1. They won last night. Cavaliers, Knicks, Game 3 is tonight. New York is up 2-0 currently in the series. Where do you want to start first? You want to start Spurs Thunder or talk...
Well, let's talk about the game last night, man. Let's talk about the game last night with the the Spurs. I think overall, though, I am just excited that we're finally getting some dramatic basketball. I know last night was kind of a blowout, but there's been a lot of really fun and dramatic basketball happening this week.
Well, you brought it up earlier. The Spurs, for as good as Wemby has been, still struggling with injuries. De'Aaron Fox and Dylan Harper were dealing with. They were banged up. Harper only played 17 minutes last night, so clearly not doing not 100%. And then OKC, even with Jalen Williams, right? He was ruled out with his hamstring strain. You've seen at times in this series that has started to flare up a little bit. So it is unfortunate. You'd like to see both of these teams at 100%, but
right.
What do you think about the move? Speaking of that guard rotation for San Antonio. What do you think of De'Aaron Fox being moved back into the starting lineup? Again, if Dylan Harper's not 100%, and I mean, if he can only play less than 20 minutes a game, then you got to do what you got to do. But I really like the way the Spurs play with De'Aaron Fox not on the floor. But he played 31 minutes last night.
Yeah.
And he wasn't bad. I mean, 7 of 14 shooting. He had 6 assists, and he had 4 turnovers, so... It's very De'Aaron Fox, right?
First game back this series, right?
Yeah.
Didn't play the opening 2 games, and
he was 1 of 6 from 3, though. That's terrible.
Yeah, not a great 3-point shooter, 16%, and then had 15 points. So I mean, an okay return for Fox. But I think you're right. I've liked what I've seen from the Spurs without him on the floor, which is
Dylan Harper's played really well.
Yeah, it's something that. I think heading into the NBA playoffs, I don't know if I would have said about De'Aaron Fox, but here we are.
Yeah, I think they're going to try and find a way out of De'Aaron Fox as soon as they can. Well, no matter what happens in this series, having Steph Castle and Dylan Harper as your go-to guards, I think that is just fine enough.
And I think he'll be in a much better spot, down the line than you would be with De'Aaron Fox.
Did you see that somebody went through and charted all of the times that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander falls down?
No, I did not.
You didn't see this?
No, I did not.
You've been really busy calling high school soccer. Congrats to all the state champions this
absolutely.
week. By the way, a lot of fun soccer played over the last few days. But somebody on Twitter, I apologies, I can't remember the account that did it, but somebody went back and charted on all of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's shot attempts, how many times he falls down. And it was like... I want to say it was like a quarter of the time, which is nobody should spend that much time on the floor.
What's been the conversation towards Oklahoma City for every team that has played Oklahoma City so far in this playoff series? It has been the complaints about the whistles. It has been complaints about
always. I mean, he had 12
SGA
free throw attempts last night. That's not egregious, but that's way more than. Let's see. Anybody else on his team. But what's funny, the Spurs had Steph Castle shot more free throws, and Wemby shot 10.
Of the 224 shots that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has taken, he's fallen on 39 of them. 17%.
17%, yeah.
Yeah, I just found the the thing you were talking about.
Which is frustrating because honestly, Shea is the most talented player in the league right now.
Yeah.
I feel comfortable saying he's the best player in the NBA. But that's when it gets frustrating, is when he's doing all this stuff that he just doesn't need to be doing. And again, like 12 free throws last night, that's not an egregious number. That's not bad. Any ball dominant guard that's aggressive driving towards the rim is going to be shooting. Again, like I said, Steph Castle shot 14, right? So it's not that big of a deal last night, but you see it in other games where that just becomes the narrative. And I honestly, I haven't really had a problem. Well, Hartenstein got a little grabby with Wemby in game 2, right? Outside of that, though, this series maybe it doesn't feel like Shea has been living on the whistle. And to be honest with you, Alex, that's what I want to see from him. I want to see him show why he's the MVP, back-to-back MVP. I don't want it to be just the free throws. I know he's talented. I want to go out there and see him with the balance and the ball control and the shot making and the shot creation. You know, he still shoots the mid range and he's so good at it. Like, show me why you're so talented instead of just getting to the line and shooting free throws.
Right. And 6 for 17 yesterday for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Only 2 for 4. But I think where he excels the most is when he's slashing towards the basket and not drawing the whistle and actually playing through the contact instead of having to go through the free throw line. That's where I want to see Shea, and I think that's where the Oklahoma City Thunder fans want to see Shea, rather than him just consistently going to the free throw line.
Yeah, right. Chet Holmgren, another player that he was so disappointing in game 1 especially. Game 2, a little underwhelming. Game 3, he had to step up with J-Dub out. He only finished with 14 points, but he was efficient. He was 5 of 7, right? Still not sniffing the glass, 3 rebounds. He only had 1 assist. So what is he doing out there on offense? He took 7 shots. 7 shots from your number 2 overall pick, who you're paying a supermax deal, and he only takes 7 shots, and your third star is out. I've honestly, if this series has proven anything to me outside of Victor Wembanyama kind of announcing himself as, you know, the next big thing, I've been so disappointed with Chet Holmgren.
Yeah. It's been fun watching NBA Twitter kind of go after Chet a little bit.
He stinks.
Yeah, it's been fun watching the highlights of him trying to defend Wemby. And
Trying.
Yeah, trying is the key word. I think in that game, too, specifically, Isaiah Hartenstein looked a lot better defending Wemby than Chet did.
Well, Chet bugs me because he's soft. He's the softest 7-footer on planet Earth.
Yeah.
In game 1, he got blocked it was either in the first overtime or second overtime. It was a crucial possession.
Yep.
He got blocked by Devin Vassell. 6'5", Devin Vassell blocked 7-1 Chet Holmgren.
He had as far as Chet goes and his blocks, he had a big block on in overtime on Monday, didn't he? If I remember right.
He's a fine defensive player, and you know I would expect him to get blocks if he's so long.
Yeah, he can
get
it. He can get it done.
He made the first defensive All NBA team, right?
Right. What I'm going with here is like he can get it done. We saw him do it against the Lakers last series. We've seen him do it in the regular season, but so far in his his quest of trying to stop Victor Wembanyama, he has not looked good.
Well, I love that you bring that up. It's very, very clear that there's something going on between them, like some sort of rivalry.
Oh, yeah.
And right now, Wemby's dominating, at least just the rivalry between those two. And I guess ultimately, sure, if Chet's team wins the series, that's what matters most. But
exactly.
Honestly, Victor Wembanyama has been embarrassing Chet Holmgren.
I would 1,000% agree.
Especially with Jalen Williams out, like, you've got to play better. Jared McCain stepped up and he shot 21 times. He actually led the Thunder in shot attempts, right? Off the bench, 27 minutes. You can talk about how horrible of a trade that was for Philly. That never made sense to me. But here are some other players. Kaysen Wallace had 8 shot attempts. That's more than Chet. Alex Caruso had 7 shot attempts. And then the other Jalen Williams that barely plays, he also had 7 shot attempts, the same as Chet. So that's 4 players taking way more shots than they deserve.
Yeah.
I guess Caruso had a good game 1, but I don't know. You're paying this dude. He's one of the highest paid players in the league next year, and he's shooting the ball 7 times.
I think, we talked about depth earlier and how important the depth is, and you're seeing that I think a lot with this Oklahoma City and San Antonio Spurs series so far. Because you look at the bench points and you just look at the massive discrepancies. Obviously, a lot of their starters play a large chunk of the minutes, but when you have to rotate in guys and allow players to come in to try to get some good play from your depth, I think that's where the Spurs are really, really struggling.
Yeah.
Their highest scorer off the bench was Dylan Harper with 6.
Again, they're not there yet.
Yeah.
Like we brought it up in the first segment. They're just not. Oklahoma City built this team based off of, number one, getting extremely lucky with Shea. They've made some really good trades. Don't get it twisted. Like, at face value, even when it was made, when they traded away Paul George and the package that they got that included Shea, who was coming off of an impressive rookie season with the Clippers, that was a great trade initially. And the Thunder had no idea that he was going to become back-to-back MVP SGA, right? So that in itself, really good trade. They've also made some other really good trades, including the Derek Favors one that handicapped the Jazz for, want to say, 7 years?
Yes, yep.
That hung over Utah's head for so long, and that was such a good move by OKC. And all these other trades that they make, and then they had a couple seasons where they move up in the lottery again. They selected Chet Holmgren, number 2 overall. So this roster was a long time in the making. And then they drafted well and made some good signings. And the Alex Caruso trade was really good. Obviously, Lou Dort, undrafted free agent. Kaysen Wallace, AJ Mitchell, some of these other draft picks are true hits.
Right.
So it's been it almost hasn't been done before, what the Thunder have done the last 5 years as far as their moves in the front office. It's unprecedented. And the Spurs, yeah, they got incredibly lucky moving all the way up to 1 in the Wemby draft. And Dylan Harper's a really good player. Steph Castle was a really good player. Outside of that, their team is just solid, young, up-and-coming team. And it's going to be another year or two before it truly feels like the Spurs are capable of winning a title, in my opinion. For as good as Wemby is, as you're saying, it's more than just your top guy.
Yeah.
What's the rest of your team doing?
It's more than just Wemby. And so far we're seeing that outside of Wemby and outside of a couple guys for OKC, there's still for me some serious questions about their depth, and so far their depth hasn't been answering the bell.
San Antonio,
yes.
Why would Philly trade Jared McCain? That move confused me so much of the trade line.
24 points, man. Last night, that was...
And I get he was barely playing because he was coming off of a meniscus injury last year. So he was barely playing to start the year. But, man, when they traded him away, my initial reaction was why was nobody else in on this? How could the Thunder get away with this again?
You can't keep getting away with it. Yeah.
I saw a video yesterday, actually. Jared McCain was talking about he cried when he found out that he was traded. I feel bad for him.
Do you want to stay in Philly?
Well, they were on the road, and you've seen Jared McCain in the videos, right?
Yeah, I've seen him. Yeah, of course.
You know his personality.
I frequent TikTok, man. Come on.
Yeah. He's a
TikToker.
But he was saying that like the reality hit him that after he was told he was traded, it set in that he was like never going to see his house again in Philly. And like, you get drafted, you think that place is going to be your home for at least the next 4 years because it's your rookie contract. You never think that you're going to get traded a year and a half into your rookie deal. So that made me feel bad for him. But then I remember that he was traded to the Thunder. It's not like he was traded to, Washington.
Right. I think it'd be a different conversation if he was traded, to Washington or Memphis.
Yeah.
And, I don't think there's anything crazy happening in Oklahoma, but at least they're winning. And at least they're in contention to win an NBA championship.
Yeah.
And that probably helps you a little bit when you're moving to a place like Oklahoma.
Jalen Williams is out, Jared. We need you to be our second best player. Not the other person that we're paying $40 million a year. We need you.
Who is? I mean, okay, yeah, obviously it's Shea is number 1. Williams is number 2. I don't know if I'm...
That's what I'm saying. It's supposed to be Chet.
I don't know if I'm comfortable saying it's Chet.
Why are they paying him so much money? What they need to do, honestly, Alex, speaking of Giannis trade rumors, they need to package Chet in a Giannis trade. Because if you're going to be paying a lot of money to somebody, you might as well make it worth it.
That sounds enticing, but I don't know if I want Giannis Antetokounmpo to end up with the Oklahoma City Thunder.
I'm not, from a fan of the NBA, I'd like somebody else to win.
Just from the Jazz perspective, I don't know if you want
I'm just saying
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I guess from the Thunder side of things, you're paying $41 million a year to this player who is incredibly soft and doesn't want to step up when they need him to.
Right.
So make that money worthwhile.
Yeah. Put him in a package. And you can probably extend your dynasty window a little bit with Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Let's take a break, Alex. Coming up next, we'll hit technical fouls. We've got a very historical event this weekend. We're going to talk about that in technical fouls. Stick with us. It's the Saturday Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses, plus free delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
This year, experience the NHL playoffs your way. Want to watch a single, do or die Game 7, a full week of heavy-hitting back-and-forth series? Then check out Sling's 1, 3, and 7-day passes. Watch the Chase for the Cup on ESPN and TNT, starting as low as $4.99. No long-term contracts or overpaying. Just live hockey at home or when you want it. Sling lets you do that. Visit sling.com to learn more.
I drive my bus in a busy city. That's why road safety is so important to me. I know that I must slow down and be extra careful when I make a wide turn. Buses need more room than cars. Everyone can help keep our roads safe. Next time you're driving, remember to give buses plenty of time and space to finish turning before driving ahead. Let's all plan to share the road safely. Learn how at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
Welcome back to the Saturday Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Christian Esparza, Alex Napoles, thank you for making us a part of your Saturday morning. Alex, it's not only Memorial Weekend, but today is a very important day in human history.
Why is it a very important day in human history today, Christian?
Well, today is the inaugural Enhanced Games.
I wasn't aware this was a thing before we had this conversation.
Founded by Australian businessman Aaron D'Souza, it plans to allow athletes to use performance-enhancing substances without being subject to drug tests. It is FDA approved, and they are under constant medical supervision, so they're not just shooting up who knows what. But I guess the first event is tomorrow, so it's technically not today, but it's this weekend. That's why I want to talk about it. It's the Olympics on steroids, quite literally.
This is the first. I don't tune into Enhanced Games. This is the first time I've ever really heard of the Enhanced Games, and now that we've talked about it, it's popping up all over my Twitter feed, and I'm looking into.
Your Twitter's listening?
Yeah, Twitter's listening, and I'm reading this story about a swimmer who is on some PEDs, getting ready for the Enhanced Games.
Yeah, that swimmer's huge.
Yeah.
You can see his back from his front.
He got jacked. He wasn't jacked before.
Sprinter Fred Curley is competing. He revealed he's not taking performance enhancers, even though that they are allowed. A lot of former Olympians. What was his name? Smith. He's from Ireland, a swimmer. That might be the same swimmer you're talking about. I can't remember. I don't think it is. But this is. What do you think about this, Alex? What do you think about an event where they? I don't know if they encourage it, but they at least allow. Are they encouraging steroid use by allowing it?
Yes.
I guess you can say they're encouraging it.
Yeah. In a way, you're kind of putting on these games and saying, "Hey, look, we're taking some of, possibly taking some PEDs, probably taking some steroids, and we're fine. We're competing."
James the Missile Magnuson.
Yeah.
That's the swimmer you're seeing.
Yes. Yep.
James the Missile Magnuson.
Great name.
Yeah.
Fantastic name. But yeah, I think that this just encourages.
You don't think it's funny?
No, it's a little funny. Like,
well, they say it's regulated. Like there's people they're doing checkups every week.
I guess if it's being regulated, you're being safe. Then
whatever regulated means, right?
Yeah, whatever that looks like.
But it has been a running joke on social media the last few years. Like, oh, let's have an Olympic event where they let people take steroids and truly see like how far humans can go. So I guess we'll see.
And we'll see. Hopefully not, but I guess we'll
Live
see.
from Las Vegas on May 24th. This is straight from their website. History in the Making, a new global sports competition where elite athletes push the limits of human performance. I'm pulling up the list of athletes.
Hopefully not, but let's hope there's no like long-term negative effects to any of these people.
Shane Ryan from Ireland. That's the swimmer's name that I recognized.
The missile?
No, that was Magnuson.
Oh, okay. I'm all in on the missile, though.
So there's swimming, track, and weightlifting. I can't wait to watch the weightlifting.
Are you tuning in?
I honestly might check in. I'm intrigued. This has piqued my interest. I can't lie to you, Alex.
You know what really piqued my interest this past weekend?
What was that?
How about the 2026 NBA MVP announcement that came out before Game 7 between the Cavaliers and the Pistons last Sunday on Prime Video exclusive. And during the broadcast, the Prime Video crew was supposed to announce, and they did announce, the 2026 MVP for the NBA this season. However, earlier that morning, how about Shams Charania of ESPN jumping online and saying, hey, you have your MVP. It's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Do you have a problem with that?
No, I don't.
I don't either.
I don't. I just think it's hilarious that Shams puts it out there, right? Obviously, ESPN immediately jumps on SportsCenter, and so that the big breaking news is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and everybody's eyes are on ESPN. And then Prime Video, who was supposed to have supposed to have the announcement, and who was supposed to be the people, to make the official announcement and have it there in conjunction with the NBA, they kind of got shafted because
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not to do on-air producing, but Parker, I think we have this sound in the system. If you want to let me know when you find it. If not, that's okay. But it was funny because
the Prime Video desk was not happy.
No, and they were right. It was Game 7. It's supposed to be this big announcement,
right.
And this is the first year that they're doing the Prime Video thing. So this was supposed to be their thing.
Yes.
And I understand why they were upset about it, even if I don't necessarily have a problem with what Shams did. Yeah, I could totally see why they were upset about it.
I see why they're upset about it.
Here's the audio of them kind of addressing the situation.
All right, now, just to be clear, the official announcement is happening here. Dirk and Steve, you all both won MVPs, but I don't remember Shams spoiling it way back then.
I don't think he was around. He was a baby then.
Yeah, what are we doing, man? It's Sunday, Shams. Go to brunch, you nerd. Come on.
So that was Sunday night. Go to brunch, you nerd. I get it.
That's a great response.
Blake Griffin's funny.
Yeah,
I like Blake Griffin
he's
a lot.
funny. And honestly, I like the desk that Prime Video has with Dirk
and Steve Nash.
Yeah, they got a good desk, and Blake Griffin had some nice comedic value to it.
Yeah, he's by far the funniest.
Absolutely.
So that was Sunday night, and then Monday, Shams was on Pat McAfee.
Of course, it's Pat.
Asked Shams about the situation, and Shams defended himself.
I mean, listen, I'm part of me is like, what are we talking about here? The other part of me is like, for me, when I get news, when I get information, if I've vetted it, like I did late Saturday night, early Sunday morning, when I have news 100%, no matter how big, no matter how small, and in this case, obviously, very, very big accomplishment, very big news around the NBA, for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander being the 14th player in NBA history to be the back-to-back league MVP. He's only, since Stephen Curry, the only guard to be back-to-back. He's the only player to go back-to-back period since Nikola Jokic. There's a list of accomplishments here. I mean, he's a rarefied air. So this is a massive story. And when I get it, I vet it. And then my job is to report the news. And so that's all I focus on. That's what I wake up thinking about. That's what I go to sleep thinking about. I feel a responsibility. And like you said, Pat, this isn't the first time necessarily, but it's not going to be the last time where I'm just going to try to do my job to the best of my ability.
He is just doing his job, and that's totally fine.
Yeah. Now, if I don't know, obviously, I don't know how the conversation behind the scene goes. I don't know what conversations were had prior to, but if somebody, if one of his sources tells him, hey, hold on to this till etc. like so-and-so time, then that's a different story. And if you put it out there before, then that's a different story.
Yeah, sometimes that's how you burn a source.
Yeah, sometimes there's embargoed news, and that's fine. But if somebody, if a source goes out to him and says, hey, this is what's happening, and then he wants to go and report that news, I don't see.
But also, part of my
with
problem with this is being the senior NBA insider for ESPN is the highest you can get in regards to being a basketball insider. So obviously Shams has worked really hard to get to where he is, but he's to the point now where Sunday morning he doesn't wake up and say, I've got to dig and find out who won MVP. That information's handed to him at that point.
Right.
And I'm sure, don't get me wrong, there are stories that Shams has to dig out throughout the year, just like any other insider or reporter or whatever. Those types of things he doesn't have to dig for. They are told to him. So that kind of bugs me where he acts like he works so hard to get this information when really the fault is whoever decided to tell him that before NBA on Prime got to announce it. I also thought it was funny him trying to justify, oh, this is such big news. That's why I leaked it. He's the only guard since Steph Curry to win back-to-back. What is that? That's like the fake stats that the NFL comes up with,
That they try, try to paint a prettier picture.
Yeah, the only player to do this with XYZ stipulations.
Yeah.
The only guard since Steph Curry to win back-to-back MVP. You know when Steph Curry won back-to-back MVP? It was 10 years ago. It's not like that was 30, 40, 50 years ago. You're skipping over Nikola Jokic winning 3 MVPs in 4 years, which I would argue is more impressive than back-to-back MVP, including Jokic going back-to-back. But he's trying to justify that what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is doing is so important, and that's why he has to steal the thunder from Prime. I thought that was funny. Just say, hey, man, I'm the top dog, okay? This is my story.
Yeah, I'm the top dog. I want to put this out there, and I want to make sure that eyes are on my network and people aren't tuning in as much to Prime.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of what it is.
He should have said the only Canadian-born MVP to go back-to-back since Steve Nash. That's more important than the only guard to win back-to-back MVP since Steph Curry.
And honestly,
what does that even mean?
And honestly, I think we all knew Shai was going to be the MVP.
Right.
And so I think kind of having that feeling, kind of knowing that it was going to be Shai kind of takes away from it too. So it's
I would say Shai winning
I want to put out
here
here this big story, and it's like, oh, cool, we already knew that.
Shai winning his first MVP was a bigger story.
Right.
Because this year there was no competition. Nobody met the 65-game minimum.
Him going back-to-back, it was like, okay, yeah, it's going to happen.
Right. Last year when he beat Nikola Jokic to take the MVP, that's an actual story. This year, Nikola Jokic didn't play 65 games, so he wasn't eligible.
Right.
So, yeah, the participation award.
Thanks for playing.
Yeah. So we'll see. I did and I didn't pull the clip of this because you need the audio or the visual element. But Shams, after being on Pat McAfee, was on another ESPN show. I think it was with Malika Andrews, and she was introducing Shams, and she said something like, "Fresh off of brunch, joining us, Shams
Nice.
Charania," and then it showed his face, and he was just he was mad.
Nice.
He didn't even smile or laugh at it or anything. He was totally fed up.
That's funny.
Because people were throwing fits about it. It's a non-story. I don't care.
I'm sure people reached out to Shams afterwards and were like, "Hey, man."
Maybe.
Yeah.
I have a bigger problem when they tip draft picks.
Oh.
I don't like that.
Yeah, that's the worst. When Schefter's doing a play-by-play of the NFL draft.
Yeah.
30 seconds before the commissioner walks on stage.
Yeah, I don't like that. I have a bigger problem with that.
Yeah, that one's annoying.
Let's take another break, Alex. Coming up next, we will talk some Cavs and Knicks. Game 3 tonight. The Knicks are up 2-0. If Donovan and James Harden lose this one, things could get ugly in Cleveland. We'll break it down next. Stick with us. It's the Saturday Show, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses, plus free delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
This year, experience the NHL playoffs your way. Want to watch a single, do or die Game 7, a full week of heavy-hitting back-and-forth series? Then check out Sling's 1, 3, and 7-day passes. Watch the Chase for the Cup on ESPN and TNT, starting as low as $4.99. No long-term contracts or overpaying. Just live hockey at home or when you want it. Sling lets you do that. Visit sling.com to learn more.
I drive my bus in a busy city. That's why road safety is so important to me. I know that I must slow down and be extra careful when I make a wide turn. Buses need more room than cars. Everyone can help keep our roads safe. Next time you're driving, remember to give buses plenty of time and space to finish turning before driving ahead. Let's all plan to share the road safely. Learn how at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
Welcome back to the Saturday Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Christian Esparza, Alex Napoles, taking you through Saturday morning in sports. We've got some breaking Jazz, Salt Lake Stars news, mainly. Mike Scotto reporting that, and Ben Anderson confirming, Shane Fenske is taking over as GM of the Salt Lake Stars. He's been with the Utah Jazz front office for several years. He knows the organization. Former GM Katie Benzon, who was promoted last year, she is staying with the team. She's just changing positions. Initially, it was reported that she was going to be leaving the organization, but she's not. She is staying with the team, but Shane Fenske is going to take over as GM of the Stars.
There you go. You been to a Stars game?
Not for a really long time.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been to one too.
I should have went and saw when they had Isaiah Thomas.
Should have gone see Mo. I should have gone to see Mo Bamba.
Mo Bamba.
Yeah, come on.
Oh man. Oh, you know what was sad? I saw a video of Bol tearing his Achilles yesterday.
Oh, that is sad. I forgot about Bol.
You know who hasn't forgot about Bol?
Who hasn't forgot about Bol?
Shaquille O'Neal, because he keeps comparing Victor Wembanyama to Bol. He says,
does he really?
Yeah, he's like, you have seen Victor Wembanyama before. His name's Bol.
It's a pretty good Shaq impression.
Not quite Shaq.
No, not the same player.
A little bit of a different
not the same
caliber of player.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alex, let's talk NBA playoffs. The New York Knicks have won games 1 and 2. Game 3 is today. Cleveland facing a 2-0 deficit. Of course, game 1 was the big story. They blew a 22-point lead in the final, 7 minutes of the game. And then you had Kenny Atkinson coming out and saying that James Harden is one of their best perimeter defenders, and that's why he didn't switch him out. People were doing stats. James Harden across that 22-point run, he was giving up 1.99 points per possession as the primary defender, which is essentially scoring on every single possession.
Yeah.
If a bucket's 2 points, So you've got some things that don't really add up. They contradict each other. And then they lose game 2 in just pathetic fashion.
Yeah, it was 93-73 with 7:29 left to go in that game 1.
In game 1.
In game 1,
yeah.
And then the Knicks came roaring all the way back, ended up taking it overtime. Now lead at 2-0, and it feels like this series is just about done and wrapped up. If the Cavaliers were going to have any chance, they needed to win game 1.
You don't think that going back to Cleveland is going to do anything for them?
Not really, no. Especially after the 109-93 win that we saw in Game 2.
Okay. You think they're buried?
I think, yeah, I think that might have been it for Cleveland. If they were going to have any chance, they needed to win Game 1, and it's very clear now that you have to just go at James Harden to find some success. James Harden, we talked about it last week, Christian, about how lackluster he's been in this playoff series and how lackluster he's been for the Cleveland Cavaliers throughout the course of the.
We've talked about this for 3 Saturdays in a row.
Right,
now,
we see it, and Kenny Atkinson doesn't, and that's fine.
It's tough. I mean, it's easy to paint James Harden as the bad guy, and I'm by no means am I defending James Harden. But
Sounds like you are.
You look at Game 2.
Sounds like you are.
You only score 93 points. There's a lot more wrong than just James Harden. I mean, you look at everybody. I mean, Donovan Mitchell shot 8 of 18, right?
Yeah.
Dennis Schroeder, 2 of 5. Max Strus, 1 of 7. Sam Merrill, 1 of 7. 0 of 7 from 3 for Sam. Jordan Tyson, 0 of 3 from 3. 26% from 3 overall on the night from Cleveland in Game 2. 39% from the field. Those are just terrible numbers. That's not going to get it done. They did only have 8 turnovers, and that's something James Harden has really struggled with throughout the playoffs. He had 0 turnovers in Game 2, so credit to him, I guess, for cutting down on the turnovers. But New York, their thing is firepower and offensive scoring. And if you're going to hold them, quote unquote, hold them to 109 points, you better win that game. And for them to only score 93 points in Game 2, that's the disappointing part for me. It was basically just an offensive no-show from Cleveland.
Absolutely.
And there's not going to be very many times when you hold New York under 109 points. And the times that you do, you need to win those games. So we'll see if they have any sort of fight, again, back in Cleveland today. We'll see if that does anything for them. We had a Cleveland radio host. His name's Nick Wilson. He was on with Jake and Ben earlier in the week, and they were kind of talking to him about, like, basically if making the conference finals saved this iteration of Cleveland. Like, if they would have lost Game 7 and exited in round 2 of the playoffs, if Cleveland would have made significant changes this offseason. And he basically hinted that, yeah, that was a very serious conversation. You make the trade for James Harden at the deadline. If you lose in the second round again, what do you do with Donovan Mitchell or Jared Allen or Evan Mobley? Like, clearly this team is very flawed. And I think it is funny, you know, you win Game 7 and move on to the next round. Does that really mean all your flaws go away?
No, and we're learning that pretty quickly through 2 games.
Exactly. They're showing up even more because you're playing a better team.
Right.
So it's even more glaring that this Cavaliers team, they need something different, and they clearly don't have what they need on this roster. The trade for James Harden, again, like I said, we've hammered it for the past 3 weeks. It was a terrible trade. It doesn't do anything for this team. It doesn't make you better on either side of the floor, right? It doesn't help Donovan Mitchell in the slightest. And not only that, but then you get multiple games like this in the playoffs where nobody shows up. Like, not a single player from Cleveland showed up in Game 2. Yeah. It's the only Game 2. Like, if you would have won Game 2 and tied up the series at 1-1, you were very much still alive. They were playing like that was a Game 4 and you're down 3-0, you know? They're mailing it in.
And, you know, Donovan goes up for 26 points, but the rest of the team...
But again, on 8 of 18 shooting, like...
Right. So the shooting wasn't great. And the entire offense for the Cavaliers weren't great in Game 2. And it's unfortunate because, again, I was bullish on this Cavaliers team, and I thought that they probably should have been better and could have done better. But that trade for James Harden is showing that it probably wasn't the right move, and now you're going to make it to the conference finals, which is great. But really, what does that accomplish for you?
Yeah, nothing.
For a team that had the aspirations of we're going to go win an NBA championship.
Yeah.
Right. It's different for, you know, next season if the Jazz make the conference finals. That's great. That's awesome.
Right.
Absolutely. But this is a Cavaliers team who, in the preseason, were talked about as potentials to win the championship.
This is Donovan's first time ever making it to the conference finals, whether it was with the Jazz or with the Cavaliers. Does that mean he has become a better player simply because they moved on to the next round? No.
I wouldn't say so. No.
No, Donovan Mitchell's Donovan Mitchell, and he's a very good player, right? And he can do really great things on the basketball floor, but he's not perfect by any means. And in fact, he is severely flawed as a basketball player, and you need to have a perfect roster around him. And they have a very glaring weakness with James Harden next to Donovan Mitchell. And I really like Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley. I really, really do.
When you have two guards who necessarily aren't the greatest defending, and you're taking on a Jalen Brunson, and you're taking
that's
on...
putting it lightly. You're being
that's
way
being
too
nice.
Yeah,
that's being nice. and again, we're learning that through the first two games, and I think even just having Jalen Brunson at the core of this Knicks team, it's proving that they are...
Brunson's cool, man. I really like Jalen Brunson.
Leaps above Cleveland.
I really, really like Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, that move, him getting out of Dallas was phenomenal for him. Now you got to be the guy. Now you got to be the leader. Now you got to be the star of the franchise. He's turned around the Knicks.
He's living up to the expectation. Again, like, if the Knicks make the finals, I don't know if I would take them. I wouldn't take them over San Antonio or OKC.
Yeah.
But, I mean, come on.
I do think it's funny that, growing up, the Knicks were the butt of many jokes.
Yeah.
And
Carmelo was cool when he was there.
Yeah, and everybody was talking about how they're, a joke of an organization. There was even a Disney Pixar movie made where they go after the Knicks time and time again. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
What is it called? Parker, do you remember what it's called? Oh, man. Soul!
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they made a Pixar movie where in Seoul where they go after the Knicks for being in a very bad organization. And then after, Jalen Brunson gets traded to the Knicks and they make the right moves, they make the right changes, and now the Knicks are...
They got rid of Julius Randle.
They got rid of Julius Randle, and now they're going to move on to an NBA championship.
The finals. They're not going to win the championship.
That's what I meant. Yes, that's what I meant.
Get it.
That's what
I get it.
To fight for an NBA championship.
You don't think... I honestly think Cleveland's going to show some fight tonight. Playing back at home, I don't think that means they're going to win the game, but I think at least it's enough to wake them up.
I will say they've been good at home in the playoffs. Most of their wins, all their wins except one, have been at home.
Oh, really?
They only lost one game at home this playoff series.
This is game 6, right, of the second round?
Yes.
Yeah. New York opened as 1.5-point favorites. They have since moved to 2.5-point favorites on this game. And I couldn't care less about betting. I just do think it's interesting to get a feel of how Vegas kind of thinks, the odds are going into this one. So ESPN's predictor, the matchup predictor, gives New York a 58% chance to win. I mean, if they win game 3, then they're going to sweep. There's no chance that Cleveland bounces back.
I do think it is a little bit wild how weak the Eastern Conference is.
Yeah.
It feels like, for as good as the Knicks are playing, it still feels like there is still a little bit of a feeling, at least from my end. I don't know if you feel the same way, Christian, but it kind of feels like, hey, they're kind of lucking into a run to the final.
Dude, we talked about it last week. They got so lucky playing Philly instead of Boston.
They're good. Don't get me wrong. Like, they are a good team. They are a good. They are, and I'm having fun watching the Knicks. And I like Brunson, and I like Towns at times. But it kind of does feel like they're walking into an NBA final.
And they're gonna run into a buzzsaw, whoever they play.
Right.
Oh, I want to see Cat try and guard Wemby so bad.
that would be a fun matchup.
So we will see Game 3 tonight between Cleveland and New York, 6 p.m. tip. What is this one on?
ABC.
It's on ABC?
ABC. It'll be on ABC tonight.
Oh.
No Prime Video.
Free.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, tune in.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good game.
You think ABC will spoil the final?
Like they did with the conference finals?
Like they did with the conference finals?
Yeah. I wouldn't put it past them. We played that last week. ABC ran a promo of Cavaliers Knicks conference finals.
I told you, man. It was in the script. It was
before Cleveland had beat Detroit.
It was in the script. It was ready to go. They had it locked and loaded. And
that is funny.
And sure enough, it's
that Cleveland won. Yeah, we'll see if Donovan bounces back. Honestly, I think they should trade him. I honestly think that might be their only way out, Cleveland. When they traded for James Harden, that's the commitment you're making. You are committing to him instead of Donovan Mitchell.
You're going rebuild for the Cavs?
Which is funny because you're rebuilding around a 30-whatever-year-old James Harden.
Ugh.
Again, that's why that move doesn't make any sense to begin with.
It was a really bad gamble, and we're seeing it pay off.
Because they can't trade him.
No. You're stuck. You're stuck with James Harden. You're stuck with James Harden, who's again now become, a little bit of a punching bag for the Cavaliers and their defensive inability.
Their only way out, so he has a player option this year. Their only way out is if he declines his player option, which is, I think it's worth $40 million. So why would he do that?
Right.
Unless he just hates Cleveland.
Which is possible.
He's playing like it.
Which is possible. Kenny Atkinson painted himself into a corner though with his comments, and then doubling down and defending the defense of James Harden.
Terrible.
It's kind of insane. So I don't even know if Kenny Atkinson is the right guy for the Cavs anymore.
No, they should just sell the team and move it.
Whoa.
That's where I'm at.
Where'd you move it, Vegas?
Just move it anywhere but Cleveland. Clearly, it's not working.
I do think we'll.
Gotta clarify that I'm kidding because sometimes people don't.
I don't know. We'll see. I think no matter what, if they don't make it, there's going to be changes that need to happen for the Cavaliers if they want to extend this window.
I agree.
Yeah.
What window? Let's take a break. We got 5 minutes of coming up next. We've got some interesting RSL news we got to get to. Diego Luna in the news and Xavier Gozo both left off of Team USA. We'll hit that next. Stick with us. It's the Saturday Show, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
This year, experience the NHL playoffs your way. Want to watch a single, do or die Game 7, a full week of heavy-hitting back-and-forth series? Then check out Sling's 1, 3, and 7-day passes. Watch the Chase for the Cup on ESPN and TNT, starting as low as $4.99. No long-term contracts or overpaying. Just live hockey at home or when you want it. Sling lets you do that. Visit sling.com to learn more.
Welcome back to the Saturday Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Christian Esparza, Alex Napoles, thank you for making us a part of your weekend, your Memorial weekend, your Saturday morning. We really appreciate everybody listening, especially to us, because why would you? But Alex, there was some controversial news yesterday in Salt Lake City. The Team USA roster for the World Cup was announced or leaked.
It leaked.
And guess who's not on there? Diego Luna or Xavier Gozo, RSL's own. We talked about it a little before the show. Gozo's understandable because he's still extremely young. He's still a teenager, right?
Right.
Diego Luna was like the face of Team USA last year, and he's not on the roster?
He's the face of all the marketing stuff that they're doing leading up to this World Cup too. There's a Fox Sports commercial to kind of pump up the World Cup and make sure everybody's tuning in, and he's front and center, scoring off a corner or on a corner kick with Christian Pulisic and all the other big stars, and so it is a little bit shocking in the sense that he has been made into one of the faces of the U.S. men's national team, and he's not now going to be included on the roster. There was a 55 provisional list, which every team does. Right, you get the 55 players who can potentially make the final roster, make the final cut, and both Luna and Diego were on it. That came out yesterday morning.
Okay.
So I think
it was looking good.
So it was looking good. I think a lot of people were a lot of Rouse Lake fans were excited. A lot of people who follow the U.S. men's national team and are looking forward to this roster dropping. We're feeling pretty good about Luna and Xavier Gozo's chances. Again, Gozo, it's understandable. He's young. He hasn't had a single cap with the senior roster. He's played plenty of made plenty of youth appearances, but he hasn't had a cap with the first team roster. Diego Luna, I think, shocked everybody. It was reported yesterday that they had been informed that they are out of the World Cup roster. And this morning, another leak has come out with the full roster. And again, Diego Luna and Xavier Gozo are not included on it.
That's crazy to me because, like you mentioned, that that provisional list comes out and everybody's excited.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
and to me, it's like you wouldn't even be excited because, as you mentioned, with all of the marketing and the posters and the graphics that Diego Luna has been a part of the past calendar year, he was expected to be on the roster. And then it comes out and it's shocking that he's not. And I saw our guy Jake Hatch getting into a Twitter spat with some fans of. So tell me about this player that apparently made it over Luna, because I'm not super familiar with soccer.
So I think there's two on that list that are kind of sticking out. The one that sticks out the most, though, is Gio Reyna, who plays in Germany.
Right, and that's the dude that Hatch was arguing about.
Yeah, he hasn't had the best contributions to the U.S. men's national team. Let's be frank. Let's be fair. And he hasn't had the best season leading up to the World Cup. Diego Luna is one of Rouse Lake's leading goal scorers. He's one of the leading assisters. He is one of the players that makes Rouse Lake tick. And, they're sitting in third place in MLS in the Western Conference, and they're having a pretty successful season to start off the year. Gio Reyna maybe gets 10, 15 minutes off of the bench over there in Germany. Hasn't had very many goals. I think maybe has 2 assists, and hasn't had the best season leading up to the World Cup. So the question I was asking was, what has Gio Reyna done to deserve a spot? And it seems like, Mauricio Pochettino, the head coach of the U.S. men's national team, elects to go with Gio Reyna over Diego Luna, and Diego Luna left off the roster.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Or not. I don't know. But what's crazy to me, it's, play on the field, whatever. If there's a better player, then yeah, take him. But the crazy part is why make it seem like he's a key part of this team, speaking of Diego Luna, only for him to not be
right. Why pump him up on all the posters? Why pump him up on all the marketing?
Right.
I mean, there was an RSL fan that I saw on social media the other day posting. He was down at Disney, and at the Disney store, they're selling Nike kits of the U.S. men's national team, and whose face is on there? Diego Luna.
Right.
So,
like all the graphics and stuff.
Right.
Like I remember when the last time that Team USA got out and played, right? And Diego Luna was playing and he broke his nose.
Mm-hmm.
And how big of a deal that was. And you see it all over social media. And it's just crazy that they made it seem like he's such a big part of this team going forward and that they can't wait to have him be like one of their next young stars. And then they just don't. They just leave him on the roster.
The other one is Alejandro Zendejas, who plays in Mexico. He's also probably the one that I think a lot of people were on the fence about making him, and it seems with the way that the roster has come out fully, it seems like it was Zendejas who was picked over Diego Luna, which Zendejas has done some nice things in Mexico, but I think that's just I think at this point just says to me a little bit that Pochettino's valuing a little bit more experience away from MLS rather than taking the MLS players.
Sure. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how Team USA performs in the World Cup, I guess. It's going to be a fun summer, though.
It is. The World Cup's always a great time of the year.
This could have been in technical files. We got another funny story I wanted to talk about real quick. We're gonna talk some EFL soccer. So Southampton was supposed to be playing in the championship today against Hull City. But it came out after their semifinals victory over Middlesbrough that Southampton had an intern that was spying on the Middlesbrough practices.
Yes.
And it's a true Spygate.
Yeah.
Like, I saw this news story. There's the practice field, and there's literally one tree right next to the practice field. And this intern was, like, hiding behind the tree, behind the one tree. It's not like there's a forest of trees to hide behind.
Nope, just the one.
He's hiding behind one tree.
With his phone.
with his phone videotaping these Middlesbrough practices. And he got caught. He tried to run away, and he ran into the bathroom and changed his clothes and tried to get away, but they still caught him or whatever. Anyway, Middlesbrough was kicked out of the championship game. Southampton was kicked out. They were replaced by Middlesbrough, the team that they beat.
Yeah. Yep.
But it doesn't matter because Hull City won anyways. That was played today.
Hull City's moving up.
City's moving up to the Champions League.
The Premier League.
The Premier League, yeah. So I just thought that was a really funny story. You think that you think of cheating and you think of the Patriots, right? It's a thing in all sports, bro.
I mean, compared to the Patriots situation, it feels like the Patriots just got a little slap on the wrist. These guys got expelled from even having a chance of making it to moving up.
Yeah.
The financial, whatever that financial backing looks like when you move up to the Premier League, it's massive.
Oh, yeah.
And so you miss out on that money, you miss out on that exposure, you miss out on moving back up again. And then on top of that, the latest reports are coming out that this might not be the only game that they've been spying on.
Oh, dude, if I were a team in this, I don't know who Southampton beat in the first round of the tournament, but I totally make up. Oh, they were spying on us too.
Yeah.
Any team that Southampton beat throughout the season.
There are teams that have already kind of hinted that
exactly.
they might pursue some sort of legal action to justify that. Hey, our result against Southampton might not have been the fairest.
Yeah. Everybody should say no. They were spying on us too.
Yep.
So I thought that was funny. That's actually a pretty big story, even though it's just the EFL, quote unquote, just the EFL. But
it is. It's massive. Again, because of the ripple effect that it's going to have across the championship. It's going to have a ripple effect across world soccer. And a couple years ago, the Canada national team was let go for very similar reasons.
Yes.
So
and that was the Olympics, right?
Yes.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Cheating in the Olympics, which makes me think everybody does it.
Right. If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
I guess.
Yeah.
Some more local news. Ace Bailey named to All-NBA rookie second team. Do you think he got snubbed there?
No, I think that's an up-high spot.
First team, Cooper Flagg, Con Knipple, VJ Edgecombe, Dylan Harper, and Cedric Coward. Those first four, I think, are very understandable. Cedric Coward off the Grizzlies. I would personally put Ace Bailey over him, but Coward had a fine rookie season as well. And then Ace is on the second team with Maxine Reynaud, Colin Murray-Boyles, Derek Queen, and Jeremiah Fears. So not a bad group. I think it's important to remember that this ultimately does not matter.
Yeah, and that's why I say that I think it's fine, because ultimately it's great to be on the second all team, but
sure,
I'm more so looking for Ace Bailey and the developments in the SIP that he takes in the future and in the coming seasons, rather than this guy missed out on a first team All NBA or first team All Rookie. And
Will Hardy said as much. I thought, if you remember, he was snubbed from the initial rookie team.
That's right.
At the All-Star break.
That's right.
Right. And Will Hardy said as much, if that was a priority, then they would have done it. If they wanted Ace Bailey to be taking 20 shots a game throughout the first half of the season, they would have done it. If they cared about Ace Bailey making the all-rookie first team, they would have done it. The Jazz had other priorities this year, and one of those priorities was turning Ace Bailey into an all-around player. And frankly, I like what I saw from Ace over the last 2 months of the year. And they need him to be more than just, a scorer.
Mm-hmm.
They need him to maximize his potential, and that comes with being a true teammate, because not only is that a good thing as a player in general, but that's what Will Hardy's system calls for, right? Everybody needs to be able to be a playmaker and move the ball, but then you also need to maximize him as a defensive talent as well because of his size and his length. So all of these things, it's not just scoring that matters anymore in the NBA. If you truly want the Utah Jazz to be contenders as fast as they possibly can, now that they're out of the rebuild, it's going to take more than, Ace Bailey scoring 25 points a game. It's going to take Ace Bailey being the best all-around basketball player he can be, along with Keontae George and Jared Jackson Jr. and Lauri Markkanen and Walker Kessler.
I think just with the steps of the development that we saw Ace Bailey take this past season, even on a Jazz team that wasn't necessarily trying to win games and trying to be competitive and just looking for draft positioning. You still saw a lot of really great signs from Ace Bailey, and I do think that Ace Bailey is on a trajectory where we can have conversations about him being a potential, future All-Star, multiple All-Star, not just a one time and then you move on.
Yeah,
but
right.
Someone who can be in the mix for years to come, and that's really good for the Jazz. The Jazz need players like that in order to have a successful window, as far as wanting to be competitive in the NBA.
And I'm so excited to watch him be a part of Will Hardy's system next year. You saw it a little bit with, like, the way that they utilized Yusuf Nurkic.
Yeah.
It's like they want all 5 players to be able to do multiple things. And Will Hardy really wants to put an emphasis on team basketball. So I can't wait to see what that looks like when they are trying to win games.
I think because of the situation that the Jazz have been in the last couple of years with trying to rebuild, with trying to position themselves in with the youth development, right? We haven't really. I don't think we've unlocked the truest of what Will Hardy can do.
We really haven't seen it, no.
And we really haven't seen it. And I think that is one of the things, along with watching guys like Walker Kessler, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Larry Markkinen play on the same court together. That is one of the things that I am really looking forward to. Is what does Will Hardy look like when he is unlocked? What does Will Hardy look like when he has kind of the free reign to actually go out there and try to put a competitive roster together and try to put a competitive team together that is pushing for the playoffs.
We will see.
I'm excited for that.
I'm excited for it too. And, if Ace Bailey wants to use this as motivation, then let's do it. I was only all rookie second
then
team.
it's all good.
I deserve to be first team.
Some players care about it. Some others.
Some players do.
But
you know what? There's more to it.
Right. There's more to it. And I think ultimately the goal is the rings.
It is funny, though, that Cooper Flagg was first, right? Dylan Harper was second. VJ Edgecombe was third. Con Knipple was fourth. And then Cedric Coward, I don't remember where he was picked, but Ace Bailey was fifth, right? So it was the top 4 picks plus somebody else was that first team. It would have been funny if it was just the top 5 picks. Yeah. That doesn't happen a lot. Anyways, we'll see.
Coward came, 11th overall.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, it was 11th overall for the Memphis Grizzlies.
Let's take a break. Coming up next.
Sorry, for the Portland Trailblazers. The Trailblazers selected him.
Well, but it's that funky thing.
Then was traded. He was traded to the Grizzlies, yeah.
Okay. Let's take a break. Coming up next, we'll put a bow on things, hit the rest of the day's schedule. Stick with us. It's the Saturday Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
This year, experience the NHL playoffs your way. Want to watch a single, do or die Game 7, a full week of heavy-hitting back-and-forth series? Then check out Sling's 1, 3, and 7-day passes. Watch the Chase for the Cup on ESPN and TNT, starting as low as $4.99. No long-term contracts or overpaying. Just live hockey at home or when you want it. Sling lets you do that. Visit sling.com to learn more.
Wrapping up another edition of the Saturday Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Christian Esparza, Alex Napoles, thank you for making us a part of your Saturday morning. Alex, real quick, Stanley Cup playoffs not going the way that anybody was expecting. Las Vegas won 3-1 last night over Colorado. They take a 2-0 lead over the Avalanche in the Western Conference Finals. Over in the East, the Canadiens gave the Hurricanes their first loss of the playoffs this year. Canadiens won 6-2. Game 2 of that series is tonight at 5. Could we see a Golden Knights Canadiens Stanley Cup Finals?
It's wild. I didn't think that up to this point we would be sitting at 2-0 Vegas. For them to be, not only are they up 2-0 in the series, but last night they were down 1-0 heading into that third period, and then Vegas just comes back and scores a flurry of goals. They have 3 in the third period. They take that game 3-1, and the Vegas Golden Knights have seemed to unlock something with making the change to bring in Tortorella.
To heck with them draft picks, right?
I know.
Torts doesn't care if he loses a second-round pick.
They don't care.
They haven't lost a game since they got
They just need to win 2 more.
Yeah.
They just need to win 2 more, and they're in a Stanley Cup final, man. And I think that would probably make some Jazz... I don't know. Do you think Mammoth fans would feel better about
yes,
the Vegas Golden Knights going to the Stanley Cup final?
Well, okay, I see what you're asking. Do they feel better because...
Or do they feel worse?
Lost, or do they feel worse because they had multiple
53
chances
seconds
to win that
to go
series?
up 3-2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally see what you're saying.
Right.
I don't think you should feel bad about that at all. I think it should make you feel better ultimately. Yeah, dude, the Mammoth had several opportunities to win that series. To be honest, I don't think the Mammoth would beat Colorado in a series.
Yeah.
And I'm still surprised. Even looking and seeing that Vegas is up 2-0, I still don't believe it.
It's crazy, and it's crazy they're up 2-0, but there is still a lot of hockey to be played, right? It's 2-0,
and Colorado is a very good team,
right? That's a big. It's a good advantage, but now I think for Vegas it turns to closing out the series. You just need to win 2 more
before they win 4.
Should
be easy. Or
a lot easier said than done. Yes, 1,000%.
But this Colorado team is one of the best. They had one of the best regular seasons we've seen in the NHL in a very, very long time.
And then on the Eastern side, man, the Canadians have surprised me. I didn't think they would be in this conversation.
I have not watched a lot of Canadians, but knowing that Carolina swept their first 2 rounds and to see them drop game 1, I'd honestly be pretty surprised if Carolina loses that series.
I would be too, and I think we'll learn a lot more from Game 2 tonight.
Yeah, I think that was more of a fluky thing.
The way that I kind of see it right now is that the Canadians ended up taking both of their series to Game 7.
Yeah, so they're exhausted.
Carolina has had extended rest
because they swept both series,
right? And so that goes back to the old adage of, in the playoffs, does rest matter more, or does making sure that you're consistently in the mix matter more? And I think again we'll find out tonight.
I bet Montreal's going to run out of gas eventually. Yeah, 2 7-game series is exhausting.
Right.
Far more exhausting.
And who knows? What if they go to 7 this series again?
I doubt it.
3 7-game series.
Carolina's going to win.
That'd be crazy.
So that is something to keep an eye on. The Stanley Cup Final is one of the best sporting events every single year. So no matter who's going to be playing this year, that's going to be a lot of fun. Real quick, the schedule on the rest of the day. For the station, we've got Real Salt Lake with an early afternoon game today. They're going to be playing at Minnesota. First kick is at 2:30. The RSL pre-match show coming up at 1:30. That's going to be on both signals. Coming up at 4:30, we're going to have the Royals taking on Denver. 4:30 pregame, and then 5 o'clock first kick. And then the Salt Lake Bees are going to be taking on Tacoma. That's your nightcap on the station. That's going to be 6:35 first pitch.
Final game for RSL before they go on to an extended break.
That's pretty crazy.
World Cup's right around the corner.
And you were telling me that they have how long?
They don't play again until late July. I don't remember the exact date off the top of my head, but they are off until late July, which the World Cup goes until about mid-July. So Real Salt Lake...
2 months off.
Yes, Real Salt Lake will play...
July 22nd.
Yes, there you go.
And today's May 23rd. So almost exactly 2 months off.
There you go.
That's a long time.
It is a long time, and it feels like it's going to be a brand new, completely different season. And so I think
it is weird when that happens.
Yeah, to have that much of a break.
Yeah,
it does feel like heading into that July game, it's going to feel like a different season. So if RSL can go on the road, who haven't been that great of a road team, and get some points in Minnesota, and head into the World Cup break sitting in 3rd, 4th place in the Western Conference as they are right now, then I think that you're in a really good spot for that second half of the season.
Yeah, I was talking to some people earlier this week. Like, RSL's been pretty good this year.
Yeah.
And it's been a bit of a surprise after all the turmoil that they've had and roster turnover that they've had over the last season or two. RSL's in a pretty good spot.
Yeah.
And a lot of that has to do with Coach Pablo Mastroeni. And I know a lot of people wanted him out a couple of years ago, but I think they're they're pretty glad that they held on to him.
Yeah, that formation change has really worked out for them.
Yeah.
They ended up, moving a lot of things. They built a new roster with a different way to approach the game, and so far it's worked out really, really well for them. Defensively, it could still probably be better, but again, they're in third place in the Western Conference, so you're in a really good spot heading into the World Cup break.
All right. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Have a fun and safe Memorial weekend, no matter what you're doing. Go out there and have fun, though. Enjoy your extra day off. Thanks for listening to the Saturday show. We'll catch you next week. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses, plus free delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
This year, experience the NHL playoffs your way. Want to watch a single, do or die Game 7, a full week of heavy-hitting back-and-forth series? Then check out Sling's 1, 3, and 7-day passes. Watch the chase for the cup on ESPN and TNT, starting as low as $4.99. No long-term contracts or overpaying. Just live hockey at home or when you want it. Sling lets you do that. Visit sling.com to learn more.